A little fun music to start.
It really is.
All right, guys, we are officially live on Facebook right now.
Let's do it. Let's kill the music and let's get started. So, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Seller Approved Marketing and Confidential Training. This is the evolution of Office Exclusive. We have Angela Brown here with MARIS. She's the Education and Training Coordinator. She's been kind enough to jump on with us and start sharing some exciting new updates taking place with MARIS. Now, for anybody on right now, keep in mind, this is if you are a user and subscriber of the MARIS MLS. It's exclusive to that. So if you're in a different MLS other than MARIS MLS, then it's not going to apply to you. So no need to be on this training. Essentially, this is for anyone using MARIS MLS. And I'm going to let Angela take it from here. Angela, thank you so much for being on. We appreciate it. Before we do that, though, if anybody has comments, drop them in the comments as Angela moves through the material. And if you'd like to be pulled up here, what we call on stage with us to ask your question in person, via camera, of course, we're welcome to pull you up here as well. But feel free to drop comments and questions. And Angela, thank you so much for being on. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. I'm going to go ahead, jump right in, get started, and then we'll answer questions at the end, if that's cool.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Perfect. Okay. So I always like to start this with, I'm sure we might have heard rumblings of Office Exclusive leaving. And it is true. It is true. But you're not just losing everything and getting nothing in return. So you will be no longer have that Seller Approved Marketing, that Office Exclusive, but you will have Seller Approved Marketing and Confidential. So before we get too into things, I like to talk about what we heard agents use Office Exclusive for, right? So these are the big ones we heard over and over. Number one, it doesn't accrue those days on market or that cumulative days on market. It doesn't track those price changes. Maybe the agent's waiting on professional photos and just needs that extra time. It'll satisfy that 5-day compliance entry requirement. We're going to come back to this in a second. So if you don't know what that is, no worries. We'll talk about it in a second. Maybe they're price testing and then their client has privacy concerns. And I totally hear all of them minus the privacy concerns, right? I totally get all of that minus that privacy concerns. And here's my reasoning as to why, right? So let's say we've got an office of 200, right? Of 50, of 10, of 5, right? And your client says, I don't want anyone to know that I'm selling this listing. I don't want anyone to know. They've got privacy concerns, right? So they don't want anyone to know. 200 people knowing, too much. 50, 5, 10, 2 people. One more person knowing than your client wants is too much, right? So with that in mind, I always like to talk about, okay, well, our next steps, right? We're going to keep in mind always MARIS's goal is timely, accurate, comprehensive, and transparent data. Now, with that in mind, and with Office Exclusive, our questions that we seek to answer are these, right? So how do we maintain that client privacy and still offer that transparency? That was our first question. Number 2, how do we ensure that that seller has full choice in how the home is marketed? Okay. Now, with those questions, our solutions are Seller Approved Marketing. You'll hear me refer to it as SAM, and Confidential. So let's get into what those actually mean. So here's our Seller Approved Marketing. It keeps your client's marketing front and center while keeping those benefits that you like, right? So no price change banner, no days on market or CDOM accrual. It's compliant with that requirement to enter the listing within 5 business days. We're going to pause here and talk about what that means now. So what that rule says is once we have a fully executed listing agreement, we've got 5 business days to get that listing into the MLS, either as coming soon or active. Okay. And that's not a change or anything. That's just normal compliance rule, normal entry requirement. Okay. Now, the reason I like to bring this up is I like to talk about status versus visibility. Okay. Now, this part, we're going to talk about what we know, right? I already told you Office Exclusive is going away, but let's talk in terms that we do know. We do know Office Exclusive, right? Office exclusive is what we call a visibility, right? It is not a status. Okay, so what that means is coming sooner and active are going to be your status. It tells us how the listing moves through the system. Okay, office exclusive tells us who can see that listing. It's the same thing with seller approved marketing. It's the same thing with confidential, right? You still have your rules for your statuses. That part isn't changing. We're just adding an umbrella of who can see it. Okay. Now, the reason I like to bring it up with this is, yes, you're compliant with that requirement to enter the listing within those 5 business days, as long as your status is coming soon or active, right? Your seller approved marketing is just going to tell you who can see it, essentially. Okay. And now who can see it? Okay. You get broader visibility because it appears to all MLS users. It is not just your office, it's everyone. The cooler part is this next point, you control that exposure. We do not syndicate CM listings via IDX, but that doesn't mean that you can't. You can promote and publish listings without violating clear cooperation on third-party websites if you'd like. Okay. Now, let's get into the other side of it. Let's get into confidential, right? So confidential aligns with those privacy expectations, right? So we still have the good things that we love, right? No price change history, no days on market or cumulative days on market accrual. It's still compliant with that requirement because you still have to have it in coming soon or active. Remember, confidential describes who can see it. Confidential describes who can see it. Okay. Now, who can see it is the question. So it is limited to only you and your managing broker. Okay. Now, let's talk about the nitty gritty. Okay. So some of these are going to be reminders. Some of them we've already gone through before, but I like to bring them up because they are pretty important still. So let's talk about days on market, that accumulation there. We know for both of them, it's a no-no, both seller approved marketing and confidential. Both of them don't accrue days on market. Now with that price change banner, confidential does have a price change banner. Seller approved marketing won't. Now some people, whenever I'm in person and I'm telling them this, they'll give me a confused face and I'll tell them, well, hold on to the next one and then I'll talk about it. Okay. So that listing history in confidential, it's a no. Okay. In seller approved marketing, it's a yes. So let's think about this as a whole. So let's think about confidential. The price change banner, I'm going to tell you, is not really going to matter just for the pure reason of only you and your managing broker will be able to see it. You guys are the only people who will see the price change banner anyway. So it honestly doesn't matter, right? In seller approved marketing, nobody will see that price change banner. It won't do anything, but we still want to be transparent, right? We still want other agents to know if they look into the history, what happened, right? So that's why we've got a yes, no, and a no, yes, okay? Let's talk about visibility, right? And we already kind of talked about this, okay? Confidential, we know, is only available to the listing agent and managing broker. A lot of the times I will get the question after that of like, I've got an admin, so can my admin not see it anymore? No. Your admin can still see it. If your admin can see your listings, they can see it, meaning if they are firmed licensed, they will see everyone in the firm. If they're office licensed, they'll still see the offices. If they are a personal assistant and you are the only person they have access to, they will only see yours, okay? Now, with seller approved marketing, we already know it's all MLS users, but my favorite thing is this all MLS products, right? And why is this a game changer? Number one, I know I've already said it. Let's think in terms that, we know office exclusive. So let's think about that. Like I said, and I'm going to repeat it every time I say this, office exclusive is going away. So don't let that confuse you. It's just something. So we've got a basis, right? So in office exclusive, we know that we can't use showing time and we know we can't use trust funds. That is not the case in seller approved marketing because it gets sent out to all MLS products. You are definitely able to still use trust funds. You can definitely use showing time, which is great. That's a game changer. All right, let's talk about public marketing. So confidential, it's 1-to-1. So 1-to-1 can talk that way. Seller approved marketing is at the seller or managing broker's discretion. So what does that mean? Talk to your client, see how they want to market that property. And that's cool. Maybe your managing broker has a standard operating procedure that they like to market their properties in a certain way. Great, follow that, right? However you want to market that property, go for it in seller approved marketing. Okay. Next, we've got our market watch and hot sheets. And some people will say, I don't know like how to memorize that, right? No, yes doesn't make sense to me. But let's kind of think about it in broader terms. Okay. So confidential is a no. Okay. And let's think about what market watch and hot sheets are. They are available to everyone. Everyone can see that information. So it makes sense that something that only me and the managing broker will be able to see doesn't show on something that everyone can see, right? Now, on the other hand, seller approved marketing is available to all MLS users. And since market watch and hot sheet are also available to all MLS users, it makes sense that you can see that. Okay. Now, our last little one on this page is our MARIS form requirement. There will be forms for both confidential and seller approved marketing. We'll get into media privacy at the end. Sometimes people, when I say media privacy, they say, I don't know what that means, but I guarantee you do. It is that drop down on your input screen where you upload those supplements, and you've got the 3 options between private, public, conditional. That's all we're talking about. Fancy way of saying that. Okay. Now, with these forms, you will have to upload them as private supplements. Media privacy is changing. Those definitions of what private, public, conditional are changing. We'll go over them at the end, so don't worry if you're like, my goodness, I don't know what those are. Don't even worry about it. We'll get into that. You will have to upload both of them as private supplements. Our only like big one here that I want you to remember, if anything else, is every 60 days you will have to get that re-signed and uploaded to the listing, the confidential one. Okay. Now, let's talk about VOW and IDX. This is going to be a very simplified version of what VOW and IDX are, but I think it's really important so you understand how your listing is moving out to third-party websites. Okay, so VOW, this stands for Virtual Office Website. If it's accessed, this information is accessed behind a login wall, that's VOW. Okay. On the other hand, we've got IDX, that's Internet Data Exchange. If there's no special sign-in or access needed to get that information, you just go to a website, see the information on the property, that's IDX. Okay. Now this matters because we're going to look at a little quick reference guide to see how that listing moves through. Okay. Now, this is the first time I think I've mentioned full exposure in this presentation. Okay. Full exposure, what I mean by that is it's not in seller approved marketing. It's not in confidential. It's not in office exclusive. A lot of people will ask me, oh, so you mean like a normal listing? Yeah, just a normal listing where you don't have anything special as far as like visibility selected. That's a full exposure. Okay. And it makes sense that this one is, yes, it goes out via IDX. Yes, it goes out via VOW. Yes, it goes out via back office. Okay. Now, seller approved marketing, I already told you in the beginning, we do not send it out via IDX. That doesn't mean that you can't go and publish it on a third-party website, right? You can't go in and say, maybe I don't want it to, or I want it to go out to my website, right? And you publish it on your own website. That's completely fine. If you want to do that, that will not break clear cooperation, okay? Now, VOW is a yes, and there is there's a lot of information that I can get into with VOW and why this is yes, but it really simplifies down to if everyone in the MLS has access to a listing, it has to go out via VOW, okay? Now, VOW and back office are a package deal, so you will see a yes here, okay? Now, lastly, we've got confidential, and this makes sense that it's going to be a no, 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 right? Is that one too many no's? I don't know. Either way, it's all going to be a no because it's as confidential as you can get. Now, we've got 2 more slides here, and then we'll break for questions. So let's talk about certifications. This top half here is going to be a little bit of a refresher, and then we'll get into media privacy. So certification documents are required to enter both seller approved marketing and confidential. You will not need it for full exposure, similar to now, right? Going back to office exclusive, it is going away, keep that in mind, but we're just applying it to what we know, right? So if we go office exclusive, we have to have that office exclusive certification. When we leave office exclusive, you don't need a special MARIS form to go full exposure, okay? It's the same thing with here, right? So if we go confidential, we need that form there. If we go then to seller approved marketing, of course we would need that form. If we go full exposure, we wouldn't need anything. It's just when you enter either seller approved marketing or confidential. Okay. Now these forms have to be uploaded under private supplements. Okay. The confidential certification has to be re-uploaded every 60 days, once again, as a private supplement. Now, I've been talking about private supplements. What does that mean, right? So media privacy, those definitions have changed. Private is just going to be you and your managing broker can see. Okay. Public is all MLS users can see. And then lastly is conditional. Conditional, if we know public, private, conditional, is very much like what it already is, right? Just with our new little rules, okay? So as long as the listing is not in an off-market status, so that's expired, canceled, withdrawn, or closed, these supplements are going to be public. So anyone in the MLS can see it. Once it's moved to one of those off-market statuses, expired, canceled, withdrawn, or closed, they turn to private. So only you and your managing broker can see it. So we will want to upload those certifications, that seller approved marketing and confidential, under private, so you and your managing broker can see it. Okay, one more slide here. I've got some FAQs and then we will get into your questions. Okay. So, can we keep our listing in seller approved marketing or confidential for the life of the listing? This is a yes. You can keep it as long as you have a valid listing agreement. I like to remind you guys here that seller approved marketing and confidential are not statuses, right? They are visibility indicators, right? They tell you who can see this listing. So it makes sense that it can stay in there for the life. It just tells us, hey, this person, these group of people, can see this listing. Okay. So as long as we've got that valid listing agreement, it's a yes. Okay. Number 2, can I put my confidential listing in a private listing network? No, you cannot. Now, if you do, it must be removed from confidential to full exposure within the same business day. This is just our clear cooperation policy. Okay. Now, lastly, what happens to my listings, my office exclusive listings, when seller approved marketing, when confidential launches? Now, all office exclusive listings will automatically become confidential on the launch date. We expect to launch in early August, so keep that in mind. Generally, the next question I get is, okay, cool, I get that. That's awesome. Great. Do I need to get that form signed? You were talking last slide about a bunch of forms, right? Or 2 forms rather. Do I have to get that form signed prior to that expected launch? And the answer is going to be, no, you don't. We grandfather you in. You will not need that form that first time, right? You will not need the form if we automatically put it into confidential. Now, if you move into confidential, if you put in a listing and you move into confidential, or you put in a listing and you move into seller approved marketing, of course, you would need that form because you were the one who put yourself there, right? You were the one who went and chose that visibility. So you would need that form then, okay? Beautiful. One last thing before I break for questions, because I do like to bring it up. We'll go here. With all of these, you move linearly, okay? And what do I mean by that? So your smallest option, the least amount of people that can see, is confidential. From there, you get more people for seller approved marketing, right? And then from there, you get more exposure and full exposure, right? You can move forward in this. You cannot move back. Meaning if you are in seller approved marketing, you cannot move back to confidential, right? The cat's already out of the bag. Same way the other way, right? So you can't move full exposure to seller approved marketing. You can't let that go. Cat's already out of the bag, okay? All right, I will go ahead, see what kind of questions we have. I may stop sharing my screen if that's okay.
Sure, yeah. No, thank you. That's very helpful. Anybody that have questions, drop it in. I've got a couple. So the forms will be available whenever this rolls out, which we're thinking tentatively early August 1 or shortly thereafter.
So I've been told, what's it called? Just August. So I wish I had a more set date for you, but I know that we'll be releasing it soon. We will do lots of marketing on it. So you will see it. It's not going to be a surprise.
Got it. Okay. So we should anticipate in the next month or so, roughly month and a half-ish. Yeah. Okay. And then other questions. So I'm assuming then when we go into listing input, once this is live, there's going to be little buttons to select, kind of like how the office exclusive is.
Yes, 100%. It'll look exactly like that. So right now we've got that office exclusive, yes, no. You will instead see seller approved marketing, yes, no. Confidential, yes, no. Great question.
And then we upload that form into there, which we're not currently doing, correct, with the office exclusive form.
Correct.
So this is
Yes.
a little bit of a change for our agents watching. You'll get that form signed and then upload that form into the MLS.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Anybody have questions on right now? Or Leo, anything on Facebook? You seeing anything?
Let me check, sir. I don't see anything right now, but I have a question. So when do we start getting access to that form that we need to upload?
So I don't have an exact date. I know that we're going to do marketing around it. I know we're still, ironing things out, making sure it's perfect, right? I know it will be soon. I don't have an exact date for you, unfortunately. Sorry about that.
Oh, good.
No, that's okay.
Thank you.
Now, I will say this, if we don't see any questions anywhere, that's completely fine. I know I am the type of person to watch a presentation and go, I got this. I have no questions. And then I'll get off the call, or it'll be an hour later, or 24 hours later, and I'll be like, my goodness, so many questions. You don't even know so many questions. Here's what I will say. If you want to reach out to me directly, my email is just angela@marismls.com. I'm always more than happy to help. So definitely reach out to me. Or if you get any questions, Mike, you can always forward them to me. I'm always more than happy to help.
Okay. No, that's perfect. Because we do get people that'll watch. This gets recorded, so people will watch this later. And so that way, if they do have questions, feel free to reach out to us or Angela. Leo just put your email in our comments there. And so, it seems fairly straightforward. Just, it's a change, and it's nothing super major. It doesn't seem like it's just going to be a little bit of different options.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I like to stress, sorry, Mike. The biggest thing that I like to stress is we're not changing the rules of statuses. A lot of people will say, my goodness, this is so confusing, but not if you really simplify it. So, right, your statuses aren't changing. How your listing is moving is not changing. It's just who can see it, right? So maybe bigger conversations with the client are to be had. So for example, thank you. That's awesome. Maybe bigger conversations are to be had. So maybe your client says, well, we're getting photos ready. We've got that one photo because that's, our requirement. We've got 5 days after a fully executed listing agreement to get that listing in. Within 3 business days after, that listing's in, you have to have at least one photo of the front, right? Well, maybe we've got more than that, but it's just iPhone photos. Maybe your client says, I don't want anybody to see that listing, right? Well, that aligns with confidential, right? Mm-hmm. On the other hand, maybe they say, well, I know that agents have more discretion with listings with a few pictures, maybe than the general public has. So maybe I'm fine with it showing up in the MLS, showing on those VAL feeds. I'm fine with that if we have people see it that way. So it's just a larger conversation to have with your client of how do we want to market this, right? It's really the ball is in your court, in your managing broker's court, in your client's court.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great. That's extremely helpful. Yeah, and so I think for us, keep in mind too, anybody that's on right now, just as I mentioned earlier, I just want to stress it again. If you are not a member of MARIS MLS, if you're in Jeff City, Lake of the Ozarks, Kansas City, Springfield, further north in Illinois, this does not apply to you. So if you're like, what the heck is this? What is MARIS? Whatever the case, this is only for people in the MARIS MLS, keep in mind. So just want to make that clear again. And but yeah, so changes we're going to look, we'll keep everybody updated too over the next few weeks as we get more updates as to a release date or a rollout date on this. But just anticipate everyone at some point in early August, we're probably going to see this happen, or not probably, we will see this happen. Yes. So we just have to be ready for it. Yes. Again, minor change, it's a form change and just giving our sellers some more options, which is never a bad thing.
Not at all. Not at all.
Cool.
Oh, Angela, I'm sorry. I just thought about this. So you mentioned that for SAMs, they will not get pushed via IDX.
Correct.
We have our website set up. It's with Bold Trail, where our agents' listings get pushed to the site automatically when they have the profile set up in Bold Trail. And then you mentioned that even though this will not get pushed to the via IDX, they still have the option to actually promote it.
Definitely. So you can market it however you want to in seller approved marketing. You can put a sign in the yard. You can do all of that. If your website has an opportunity for you to manually publish, you can put it on there. We're not stopping you from doing any of that. That is still all fine with clear cooperation. If your website has a vow feed, so if you have to sign in to view listings, you may be able to get those automatically. Check with your vendor. That I don't know. You can even check with our IDX team of like, hey, do you know what we have going on? They may be able to answer. Their email is just idx@marismls.com. Super easy. But yes, back to your question. In seller approved marketing, you market it however you want. You're right. We will not send it out via IDX. So if you're receiving the feed via IDX, you won't get it automatically on your website, but that does not mean that you cannot publish it yourself.
Got it. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Does anyone have questions? Anybody on right now? Any questions? Drop them in. I don't see anything on Facebook either. So I think, for first round of going through this, it's new, some changes coming, but we'll navigate through it. Nothing earth shattering, it's just, but I think, Angela, what we'll do though is kind of monitor throughout today and tomorrow for the recording. If any questions come up, we'll touch base with you to see if it's something we don't know or can't answer.
Oh, definitely.
No, I think this was extremely helpful to kind of get agents ready for what's coming. And we'll just be on the lookout we got some thank yous coming in. So we'll be on the lookout for updates over the next few weeks, and we'll keep everybody online and everybody in the company up to speed on when the official rollout date for this will be.
Definitely. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, you guys.
No, thank you, Angela. We appreciate you taking the time this morning.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm always more than happy to help.
Sounds really good. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. All right.
Yes.
Thanks, Angela.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a great day.